What's good, family? We have another video by Shattered Paradigm. Now, if you know, these videos right here expose a lot of what's going on. Now, in this video, they're going to be talking about predictive programming and also mind control. Now, mind control can happen on an individual basis like MK Ultra, or on a mass basis just through the media, our cell phones, and everything like that. Now, MK Ultra, the symbolism for it is like the butterfly. This is why you see like a lot of different celebrities having the butterfly symbolism. You have Ariana Grande right here. We have Beyonce with the monarch type of butterfly covering her one eye for like one eye symbolism. And you can literally just look it up. There's so much documentation about the MK Ultra experiments. And now, this is what I find very interesting. We have Ariana Grande with the butterfly here. We have the butterfly tattoo on Ariana Grande. And then we have this video here of her talking about how she goes to a clinic to get her memory erased.
Is the next step. It means it must come out. You know, it's been...
Do you have a release date?
You know what? They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know?
What?
The memory erasure. They erase my memories. It's a little foggy, but...
If you could remember, struggle.
You know what? I'll have to go back to the clinic and see if they can restore my memory.
Is it going to be soon? Because the fans want to know, Ariana.
So soon? So, Mark, you have to learn the language of my fans because soon means 10 days or less. I'm not allowed to use that word at this moment.
So it's not less than 10 days?
I'm not going to use that word today. I'll say that. I love you.
Now,
You're so naughty.
if there's anything that's close to mind control, being able to erase someone's memory is getting very freaking close. So let's get into this video right here and how they're going to expose the predictive programming that's going on today.
They discovered nearly blew them away.
It seems rabbits enjoy living in Fort Collins just as much as people. They're often spotted hopping through neighborhoods looking for grub. But some southeast Fort Collins neighbors noticed bunnies were cute. Wasn't exactly the word that came to mind. I snapped this photo of one of the rabbits I've seen with the growth. I also saw this photo posted on Reddit, also spotted in Fort Collins.
Like a scabbyish looking kind of growth over her face.
Looks like it was black quills or black toothpicks sticking out all around his mouth.
Susan Mansfield said she saw a different bunny with tentacles in her yard in recent years.
He had this same black stuff on him, and I thought he would die off during the winter, but he didn't. He came back a second year, and it grew.
Colorado Parks and Wildlife confirms this is a virus.
Radioactive wasps on the loose in South Carolina. Pretty scary, right? Earlier this month, workers at the Savannah River site, where America's nuclear bombs used to be made, came across a wasp nest. And the discovery started a whole chain reaction of events. Because of the nest's location, right next to tanks where nuclear waste is stored, workers felt compelled to test the wasp nest to see if it was radioactive. And what they discovered nearly blew them away. That nest was 10 times any acceptable level of radiation.
This is the Sanford Underground Research Facility, the deepest underground lab in the United States. It's a converted mine where more than 10 experiments are being conducted. Experiments that can only take place far beneath the surface of the Earth.
Workers felt compelled to test the wasp nest to see if it was radioactive. And what they discovered nearly blew them away. That nest was 10 times any acceptable level of radiation. The nest was sprayed with insecticide, bagged up and taken away. But the wasps themselves, nowhere to be found.
Now to a recall of frozen shrimp sold at Walmart. People are being told to throw it away after shrimp in a shipment was found to be contaminated with radioactive material.
It was found in a shipment of uncooked frozen shrimp. So the agency is taking the step to recall more of the shrimp brand and warn the public. Now, the radioactive substance that we're talking about is called cesium-137, which is mostly found in places that have had nuclear testing or nuclear accidents. It has a half-life of about 30 years, which means we got a long time to think about it. And the FDA says it has found found in a single shipment from a company in Indonesia. The level of radioactivity would not pose in the shrimp itself a health threat, but if you were to eat it repeatedly, repeated exposure to even low doses of cesium-137 could raise cancer risk. Now, Walmart sells the brand of frozen shrimp in 13 states under the brand name, and you can see them in red.
Wild pigs in South Monterey County are showing signs of poisoning from a rodenticide found in agricultural fields. The rodenticide, known as diphacinone, turns animals' fatty tissue blue.
So that's a signal, clear signal, to anybody who wants to eat an animal that they've hunted. If they cut it open and it's blue, you don't eat blue meat.
And it's not just one or two pigs.
From one particular property, we checked 12 or 13 pigs, and they were all blue on the inside.
The California Department of Fish and Wildlife confirming the poison's presence in one pig who was sent in for a toxicology panel.
The animal that came back positive for diphacinone exposure.
At this point, it looks like that poison could be from multiple locations across South Monterey County and along the Salinas River.
We mapped out a polygon of where we were seeing animals that were affected, and it's so large at this point in time. I suspect that these animals are moving up and down the drainage and having multiple points of exposure to the rodenticide.
Fungus-infected zombie spiders. You can see the fungus over the spider's head and body.
Radioactive wasps on the loose in South Carolina.
Shrimp in a shipment was found to be contaminated with radioactive material.
And the thought of World War III breaking out has touched a nerve on our shores, reigniting the doomsday prepper movement with Americans getting ready for the worst. And what about those old fallout shelters constructed decades ago during the Cold War? Are they still there?
Now, this might look like your average public library, but follow me. Take a look at this sign here, and let's go down to the basement. 2 flights down, and I'm there. Down here in the basement, it's actually a bomb shelter from the 1960s. You can see the sign on the wall right here, capacity 90. People in this community could flock to this location in the event that our country was being attacked. Back in the 50s and 60s, at the height of fears of nuclear war, there were thousands of these fallout shelters.
Learn the location of public shelters in areas where you work or frequently visit.
They were stored with non-perishable food and other items for survival in the event of an attack by a foreign enemy.
You duck and cover tight against the wall this way.
Fallout shelters are still an
The crazy thing to think about is like all this destruction, all these things that you see happening to these animals or even humans forming these shelters. All of it is literally caused by humans.
Existence, if you know where to find them, like this one beneath the library in Passaic, New Jersey.
And Amazon has released the trailer for Fallout Season 2, featuring Justin Theroux as Robert House in the fan-favorite setting of New Vegas. Now, House, a major character from the Fallout New Vegas video game, takes on central role this season after a brief Season 1 appearance. The show continues to expand its ties to the popular video game franchise.
I'm looking for someone. Common story around here. Someone you care about or someone you hate?
Oh, what a great question.
I didn't read the full title. The title is Fallout Predictive Programming.
What say you, Miss McClan?
Why would my dad go to Las Vegas?
You want to know why the world ended? It started here with one man.
It's all over, but the cry.
Cooper Howard, star of the Silver Screen.
That's like Get Out.
Like yourself, I am the very best at what I do. And what I do is I know everything. I know there's a war coming. bombs will only be the beginning. My concern is that you would do just about anything to save your family. I think you are actually quite a violent man. You just don't want to kill me yet.
Let's get lucky, shall we?
They already have like genetically modified mosquitoes.
I defer to you about what to do in this situation.
Man, right after the solar eclipse, and now we're on the edge of World War III. I'm hearing wars and rumors of wars. And all anyone wants to talk about is Kendrick and Drake's beef. But yeah, I watched that show y'all was telling me about, Fallout. Please, tell me y'all saw the programming. The same programming they put in that new Netflix reboot of Good Times, as well as Civil War and Leave the World Behind.
Programming. Here we go again. Jake, I know you love your fashion brands. You should see if Louis V makes hats out of tinfoil.
Funny.
Yeah, I admit, Fallout had some bizarre and disturbing imagery, but I didn't see anything that it had in common with the Good Times reboot or them other movies you're talking about.
Good Times was pure buffoonery and stereotypes. At least Fallout was creative.
Y'all sleeping. For one, the number 33 was everywhere in this show. They're using colors to send a message. Check out the fingernail polished pink and green pastel in the trailer for Civil War. And here again, pink and green pastel in the trailer for Good Times. And the blue and yellow color coding is a signal. Look.
Wow, that is weird.
That doesn't look like a coincidence. They got New California Republic in Fallout, and in Civil War's Republic of California.
You telling me you didn't notice the Tesla references in Fallout having to do with the end of the world? Just like in Leave the World Behind and in Good Times, they not only showed a Tesla, but had Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates in charge of some kind of controlled breeding program for black people.
That's funny. Both Good Times and Fallout had episodes that focused on genetic breeding programs. Also, both had a lot of water and fish references in those episodes.
That's interesting that Jeff Bezos was featured in the Netflix original Good Times when he owns Amazon Prime Originals, which released Fallout. And lots of folks watch these shows on Bill Gates' created operating systems. So if all these elites are working together to brainwash us using shows and movies as some kind of psychological conditioning, what are they conditioning us for?
Yeah, bro. What is the ultimate goal of all this?
Honestly, I'm not really sure where all this is heading. But I know the truth is stranger than fiction. And I got this new app that's supposed to answer deep, forbidden questions the New World Order doesn't want you to know.
I've never heard of that app.
Does it work?
We about to find out. Let's ask Truth Rider.
Navigating the treacherous corridors between truth and lies.
in a shady world of shadow banning and censorship, using their technology against them. He fights the prince of the power of the air. He braves the information highway in a race against time, a race against the signal. His mission, to expose a cabal of illuminists hiding in the dark, hiding in the recesses of the mind. But the shadowy figures in the dark web are relentless.
Hiding in the recess of the mind.
Hiding in my head, in my head, in my bed. Hiding in the corner of my mind, of my mind. Never letting go the things I hide, things I hide.
Truth Rider, a lone watchman, traverses cyberspace, scouring the metaverse in search of truth, vanquishing propaganda, liberating those who have been bound by deception. He rides.
Shalom, family. Wow, lots of questions. Well, I want to help you connect the dots. I know for those of us with eyes to see, it may feel like the spellcasters are overplaying their hand and really showing their cards. But to the average entertainment-obsessed frog relaxing in the pot, too immersed in distraction to worry about steam and bubbles, everything seems just fine. A perfect example is the fact that the controllers have now diverted everyone's attention to the so-called beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. The official narrative says that Kendrick Lamar put out a diss track, then Drake responded with a diss track. But the fact of the matter is that the multinational corporate suits and ties are the only ones who really put out a diss track. A distraction.
Bars.
They love to profit off of the distraction and destruction of the Israelite youth.
Bars.
I'm telling you, they're harnessing your collective spiritual energy for a giant war invocation.
He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
And that brings us to our main topic. So we're decoding Fallout.
But war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil. Yet were they drawn swords.
The dystopian post-apocalyptic cinematic psyop Amazon Prime deployed in the midst of rising global tensions between the world's nuclear powers. So this is a weapons-grade piece of Hegelian propaganda the controllers have rolled out to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You see, the sci-fi stories that entertained us just a few decades ago have become the dystopian reality that invades every aspect of our lives today, and that's by design. Let's examine episode 6 of Fallout, titled The Trap. We're going to compare and contrast its signs and symbols with those featured in other recent Hollywood releases.
Episode 6, The Trap, starts with the character, Cooper Howard, filming an infomercial-like ad for residential underground nuclear fallout shelters. This vast network of doomsday bunkers is called the Vault, and this specific shelter is called Vault 4. Notice the sign that reads Test Subjects. As Cooper Howard tours the vault making his sales pitch, he refers to this corridor as Sycamore Street. Notice both addresses start with the number 42.
As Mr. Howard enters into Unit 429, walking across the black and white checkered floor, he introduces a family by saying, quote,
Meet the Hawthorns.
Meet the Hawthorns.
Now, this isn't just your average all-American family.
Now, this isn't just your average all-American family, end quote. Pattern recognition. We have numerous examples of spellcasters tying the number 42 to the so-called African American community.
In many occult traditions, the number 42 is associated with the ancient Egyptian and Greek gods Thoth Hermes. The show's producers further solidify this connection by showcasing Hermes Caduceus on an organ harvesting robot.
Did you say Thoth?
Yes, you know the entity Cat Williams was talking about on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Even Tesla says that this is where he came to get the information. But if you follow that information pathway, it leads you to this character called Thoth.
The Egyptian god Thoth. Okay, it says beginning in the 2nd century BC onwards, Greek texts attributed to Hermes, a syncretic combination of Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth, appeared in Greco-Roman Egypt. Those texts known as the Hermetica.
Any genetic hybridization program would be considered a form of biological alchemy, and we know Hermes presides over their alchemical tradition. One of the show's central characters is a so-called black man named Maximus. Here, he's shown in Vault 4, the same vault which housed the Hawthorne family earlier in this episode, which just so happens to be the vault designated for inhumane scientific experiments.
Remember, they have to tell you, so this kind of soft disclosure is meant to elicit passive consent. In reality, the US government and its corporate cronies have been locking vulnerable populations in projects, prisons, barrios, reservations, and ghettos, and performing secret science experiments on their unsuspecting inhabitants for decades.
Pruitt-Igoe, the Holmesburg prison experiments, and the Tuskegee experiments are just a few examples, so that's why the spellcasters appropriately titled this episode, The Trap.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
Well, that's exactly why, like, if you lived in a city, it was much harder to not get the shot. Much harder. They didn't allow you to do anything. You couldn't go outside. You couldn't shop. You literally couldn't go to a restaurant and eat there if you didn't have a proof that you got the shot. If you lived outside of the city, more like suburbs where there's a lot of land, you know what I'm saying, locally owned stuff, you're good. But it's when they have a lot of people together is where they like to control them the most.
They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth. For a spoil, and none saith, restore.
Nowadays, to quote the pro-New World Order futurist Noah Harari, the new frontier of experimentation is genetic.
As in the days of Noah. In the show, Vault 4's human hybrid breeding program centers around splicing humans with fish and other aquatic creatures. Here we see a resident of Vault 4 with bioluminescent eyes and what appears to be tentacles on her face.
This imagery is alerting us to the fact that there are Marine Kingdom spirits and spells at play here. In this scene, they made a point to subtly incorporate fish in the design of the wallpaper, while Maximus, an Israelite, is eating caviar and watching an on-screen waterfall.
Toward the end of the episode, the main character Lucy discovers a laboratory where she watches a video of an experiment where a pregnant woman submerged in water gives birth to humanoid fish-like creatures, which then turn on the woman and consume her.
Now let's quickly juxtapose this episode of Fallout with the Good Times reboot. Episode 4, titled, They Came Before Elon. Let's start with a question. What are the primary colors in this promotional poster art?
I would say blue and yellow.
Whoa.
Exactly.
They're supposed to be in the projects. Get it? Science projects. And they got them floating on water. That's got to mean something.
This version was tailor-made to disparage your generation. The show starts with the father almost drowning in their flooded apartment.
In this scene, the mother says, and I quote, "We're in here living like mermaids." Then in this same episode, the son paints a mural for Elon Musk he titles The Naked Jellyfish. Eventually, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates admit they are conducting genetic experiments, breeding specific genes found in black people.
Crazy. That's exactly what you were saying.
My grandma watches reruns of the old school show of Good Times.
The old version was way more positive.
Themes of transhumanism, human-animal hybrids, specifically chimeric fish, are being woven into many storylines and plots aimed at the so-called African-American community all of a sudden.
Hopefully this helps you discern the truth behind the veil. Remember to guard your eye gate. The spellcasters are scouring the people's subconscious psyche, subliminally pushing the masses toward collective consent in order to obtain legal jurisdiction to defile your soul. It's important to take a look in the rear view. Search out the old paths. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Man, these videos, they be breaking down multiple different shows and showing the parallels, which is wild. Now we're able to see which is very clear, the colors that they're using, which is in support of transhumanism. And we know that agenda that's being pushed on the mass majority of people of no genders and, you know what I'm saying, you could be whatever you want. No more you're born a guy or a girl. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Comment down below your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm going to catch you guys in the next